How to create a composite body for multiple body transplant and live organ transplant. Transplant, rejection, immune, evasion, medicine, decellularization method, and artificial tissue for implantation into human body, transplant materials, and how to create them. Okay, this is literally the equivalent of like, look on that nigga's Google history, unironically. That's kind of hilarious. Okay. 184 bodies, Jesus. Oh, that's weird. What? That's so random. Okay. Also, if I was actually literally him, it's not like some copy. No, that's bullshit. This is a copy. Wait, is it a copy or a stand-in, or is it like a? This is just him post kamui interference. Like, what are we doing here? Or is he just playing up the character? I'm gonna assume he's just playing up the character and he's just being in character. Sure. The princess from Adventure Time. Wait. At the conclusion, okay. Conception of an oracle. Yeah, that makes sense. Dependent keyword. Interesting. Proposes support system for citizens to replace civil. Okay. It's not architectural form designed as a detention. Jimmy Bentham. Random name drops. Tree Kamui, he's not dumb. He just tilted his head and just kept smiling like, yeah, I know, kid. I'm not dumb. Like last episode, is that a slide on the symbol? It's like ah. So in the early days, when the Sibyl was becoming like popular, or when it was already instated, but it was in its like mad beginning stages, somebody else came up and they're like, okay, let's make an alternative. That shit tanked, and people were just like, okay, well, fuck it, Sibyl, I guess. That's I don't know why, but that's interesting. It's not even that crazy because obviously things like obviously that would happen, but I just really like how they're doing this right now. I don't know how to explain it. If Kamui is right on this, what if everything had been set up in order to ensure that result type of thing? It's like maybe that's why I like it because it's like reflecting the real world kind of, but it's like in a product consumption way. And if this is like a product, right? If you're selling the product and if you have competitors and your main rival dips out and you become like you basically have a monopoly on shit. It's like who's the benefactor, right? I don't think it's the symbol itself because the symbol itself is its own thing, right? That's its whole separate entity. So it's like, is there somebody behind the symbol? Now this is kind of like I'm not gonna say it's opening up different doors, but it's like it's the possibility to open up different doors. It's like okay, it's not just the symbol. The symbol. I'm gonna speak kind of loosely now. The symbol gained sentience and became its own being, kind of, right? We're looking at that as like not the main baddie, but it's like that's the thing, that's the entity, that's the person in Akane's way right now. But then it's like okay, the origin of the symbol. Who's your daddy? Who's your mama? Where your mom at? Right? Well, where's the symbols like people at? Well, where's the person that like got them instated? Who's the person that backed the symbol back in the day when it was first coming around? Right? Now that's kind of a question now. If they decide to go that way, they kind of could. Um, there's something else I wanted to say. Oh yeah. Again, is it only this town? I don't believe that they've said it. If they have, then just tell me. But I would outside of this town, outside of Japan, but first the town. It's like, do other towns have the exact same symbol? Is it all of Japan? Is it not? Because it may have failed. Now they were just talking about it, and they did show like a map of like I don't know if that's the United States or I don't know if that's just like this section of Japan, wherever the fuck they're at. It looks like just a section of Japan from what I'm looking at right now, but it's like what does America look like? Does it have the exact same symbol system? Does it have like an alternate symbol system? Does that thing have sentience like Japan's does? Did we come up with alternatives, right? It's just it'll be so interesting world building wise what they do with this. Especially because we're getting this right now. Like not the origins, but like the back in the day shit, which is always interesting. Mm, mm. Really? Hmm. I didn't say anything earlier, but I really like how they're doing I really like how they're doing. They've done this before in the past, but just especially now, I don't know why, but I just like it. Not taking away from the other times that they've done stuff like this, but it's just like, yeah, oh, I'm talking to Kamui, and then I step back because like the mood's changed, the conversation's changed. Now I'm talking to you, like the doctor. That's just I like how they're doing that too. That's kind of interesting. How? Oh, meditate and providing them with the appropriate. I just by virtue of like looking up people's names that I've forgotten over time and just trying to keep up my knowledge of the series, in general. I haven't seen any spoilers, don't worry. Um, I was reading part of the Chief's bio. Again, I didn't see any spoilers, so don't worry. I'm very strict with that shit. I've even viewed names in some cases as spoilers. I don't want any hints of hints. I don't. All this shit spoilers to me. So I try to be very careful with that. I'm starting to think that. So the guy, I forgot his name. I'll put it up on screen again, even though I put it on the last video or whatever. The guy's name that wrote the book, that Makima killed, Makishima, the guy that Makishima killed, I'm assuming he's dead and he's just dead. But him and the original owner of the body, possibly, which is the chief in and of herself, they were just sharing one body. That guy died. She became the only owner of this body. It's still mechanical, but she plugs herself into the system to converse with them and to talk to them to get their opinion on shit. And then she logs out type beat. I don't remember exactly what I read anyways, but I remember that they said that they shared the same body. The original owner, which is the chief. Like the chief isn't just the sibyl, from my understanding. Like I assumed before this that the sibyl was just the sibyl and they just was controlling somebody's body, and the original owner of that body, it didn't really necessarily matter. But this is just a vessel for the sibyl in and of itself, and they would switch out every now and again. I still feel like that's kind of on the table and they could do that in the future, so I'm not gonna disregard that entirely. But now I'm under the not assumption. I'm under the impression that there was the original owner of the body, which is the chief, which has all memories and blah 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 blah. Then there was the guy that wrote the book. Makishima killed the guy that wrote the book. So it's just one person in the body, as far as we know right now. Also, she seems to be chilling. She's painting her nails, so non-threat, or either it's within their or her calculations, depending on how smart she is, separate from the civil or whatever. Okay, so he's not a copy. I think I'm fairly certain of that now. He's not a copy. This is just post coming into contact with kamui or whatever after you got brainwashed. Got it. And yeah, I got it. Yeah. And the mention I'm sorry. And the mention last episode or the episode 2 ago when I keep calling him doctor. I don't remember his name either. When the psychiatrist guy on our side, smart guy, smart old man, when he was saying you used to be like that, he wasn't saying like, oh, you got replaced. He was saying no, but he said, who are you though? But he said, who are you? And if he is a perfect copy and he's staying like, and he's like just committed to it because of Kamui's brainwashing, whether he is him or he's not him, it's like it could still be either or though. I don't know. Now I'm not so even sure anymore. Now I doubled back on my I don't know. We'll see. Unless that's supposed to be the question, right? Or unless it just does what it is, because either way, you know? I don't know. If my reading of their relationship is right, or at the very least, if Kamui cares about the doctor in some way, shape, or form, or has some kind of endearing meant to him. I mean, Kamui cried over the guy from the at the medication store thing. When Maki like didn't want to act because she was too scared and the responsibility the first time. Even then he cried for that guy. So it's like he whether he's faking or some psychological bullshit, he possibly feels something, right? And if he does, and if I'm right, and or if I'm right, and he and or yeah, and or if I'm right, and he does feel like the doctor is a father figure to him. I just it's kind of weird for me to see him like off the rip. It's hard for me, at least right now, to see him be like, yeah, you're my father figure, but I'm gonna replace you. Fuck you. And somebody else can just come take your place and be a perfect copy of you, even though they're not even a perfect copy. No, he has to be a fake. But he said, "Who are you?" Was that just like, was that not literal? Am I not supposed to take that literally? I don't know. I don't know because I can view it as like, oh, I'm in a very vulnerable position. I just was in a fucking plane crash at a young age, and I got all the people on that fucking plane are grafted onto my body. Is my body even myself? I believe it was Theseus's ship, what I brought up before, like last episode, I think. Here it is again. It's like, are you even you? Like, da da da. He's very vulnerable. The doctor helped me stay the fuck alive. Um, like, he's gonna be very important to me, right? Um, we probably get close because he probably checks up on me, even if that's not how that goes, and he's just the surgery guy. I don't know. It'd be it would be especially weird if like he performed a surgery on him. Kamui grew up, and in that time he was growing up, the doctor got addicted to medication and shit. Kamui came back, saved him, and then on from that, like, I'm gonna pay your shit in forward because you saved me, and I was able to ask these questions and get here. Now I'll help you. I'll save you. It's just, yeah, I don't know. I'll have to think more on that. I'll shut up.
記録にはないと思いますが。それ変。人減ってないとおかしいのに。そうね。内臓を抜き取られて殺された人がいるなら、移植される前の人物は消えていないとおかしい。待てよ。確か現場に国外の新聞や紙幣が残されていたな。そうか。密入国者。
Ah, that makes sense.
その可能性があります。そうまでして何をする気なんだ。
Togane? A one-on-one with these two. That's interesting.
以前からあなたには興味がありました。受講生を黒く染めた講師、サイガ上司。嬉しく。
Hmm.
他者のサイコパスを操る能力。そんなものがただの技術であるはずがありません。確かにそんなものが伝達できるなら、この社会は成り立たなくなっちまうからな。技術でないならそれは才能です。
I want to get this out right quick. The fact that that's the first thing that he mentions. It's just a random feeling that I have. I'm not leaning towards it or anything necessarily. Um, he's just obsessed with coloring people black. I know I probably said that before, but like I was like hesitating between like, is it just he likes to color people black, and is that disassociated entirely from kamui? Is he affected by kamui a little bit? Blah 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 blah. The spectrum, in the spectrum thereof, right? Now it's just like, okay, you're just a fanboy of coloring people black, and if he is, that makes him less of a threat, maybe in my head.
するカムイとは真逆のサイコパスを濁らせる才能をあなたは持っている。光栄だとでも言えばいいのか。そしてそれゆえ。
I wonder if he peeps it. If he peeps, I wonder if Joji peeps like Togane's bullshit. He's fairly fucking really smart. He peeks up on shit. I wonder if he peeps it. If he can just see through it, and he's just like, yeah, whatever. I don't care.
自分が干渉してもサイコパスが変化しない常森監視官に依存している。
Interesting. You're calling him out. Interesting. Wait, did he just? Is he putting it together now? Hold on.
了解です。依存か。
Dependent, huh?
お前はどうなんだ。
And he doesn't answer. I knew it was gonna be interesting. You're sharp, too sharp. Dependent, huh? What does that make you? So he was right. So Togane's right, at least to some extent. But Joji's not stupid. He's not stupid. He probably understands that and he peeps that and he acknowledges that, or at the very least, he wouldn't challenge it if it was brought up like just now, right? Interesting. This little interaction, I really like that. Too sharp. Okay, starting to suspect something now at least because he's like, all right, you a little bit too smart, buddy.
いずれも背後にいるのはカムイは東金財団に復讐しようとしている。航空機事故の手術で東金財団が保有していた特許技術が使用されている。脳を生きたまま摘出する技術、摘出した脳をつなぎ合わせる技術、ドローンによる全自動での脳の摘出、人間を必要としない手術の提案、特許出願者の名前、東金美佐子。
His mom looks so weird. Again, no offense. He has a whole man face. Like it's just like with the chief being a thing, and just with the technology, and now with Kamui being a thing, with his grafting shit, it's just like, who's real, bro? I'm sussing. Also, so what I took from that is, or like vaguely, is like she brought up the question of is he trying to take revenge? I don't know, but after hearing her go through the little spiel just now and reading shit off, I'm like, okay, I don't know why, but in my head, him going strictly after them for revenge, what I thought before and what I'm about to say now are in like different categories. Even though revenge and what I'm about to say would technically, probably from the outside point of view, be the same thing. Just bear with me, right? They're in separate categories in my head. So from what I gathered, from what she just said, this isn't the purely Togane revenge thing. This is the other thing. Togane's family had technologies, and they had things that they wanted to try out on people, and they had things that they've made that they wanted to test out on people. Probably couldn't do that legally. It's probably kind of inhumane. It's kind of fucked. They had like testing shit that they want to test out, but there's no real like application to do it unless you're gonna do like human testing. I mean, like animal testing. But I would imagine that probably takes it like you can only go so far. All that's bullshit. That is just made up, right? I'm just talking. But the main part is basically they had shit that they want to test. They tested it on their families, and then they're like, okay, let's take it a step further. And then either they either masqueraded the whole thing with the sibyl, or either somebody else was doing something with the sibyl. The people backing the sibyl or who made the sibyl to become the monopoly or whatever, they needed help, and the Togane family was like, okay, sure, let's partner up type beat. We're gonna make like plane crashes and shit so we can test out our shit. And then because we're making the plane crashes and stuff, that's gonna tank your rival, and then you're gonna become a monopoly because you're better, right? And under the rivals thing, all these plane crashes and shit happened. That's what I'm kind of gathering here. If I change my mind, I'll probably put it in like notes and shit. But yeah, that's vaguely where I'm at and what I got from that.
人間を必要としない手術の提案。何これ。特許出願者の名前。
Oh no, I'm dumb. Latest patient was that's okay. So no, they just had shit that they wanted to test out for some reason. They didn't start on their family. I roll that back. Sorry if I said that. I'm dumb. The latest patient was her. So they had shit that, yeah, they had shit that they wanted to test out on people. They didn't know how to test it out, or they couldn't test it out legally. So they either did it all themselves, or they partnered up with whoever the fuck was trying to push the Sybil, sabotaged their rival. By their rival, I mean the person or the people that were backing the Sybil, not necessarily the Togane people themselves, depending on which version you want to go with. And then They're like, oh, okay, we basically know how to do it. We've probably ironed out the kinks. Now we just tested on his mom for whatever reason, and either Togane is in on it and he's crazy like the rest of his fucking family, and or he went crazy because he wants to take revenge on them as well. And Kamui is just kind of in the mix somewhere, and maybe Kamui, if he's not with Kamui, he's somehow just intermixed in there for some reason, or maybe he's like the most convenient way to get there. Yeah. She died.
私のサイコパスが濁っちゃう。
Okay, I'm sorry. Also, she knows info now. She's getting more and more important, and she needs to tag in this info to somebody before she gets bodied. Since the scene with the Akane being like, "Hey, where's Makishima?" Even before that, I was like, "Okay, you know some shit. You need to tag that in before she gets lost." Okay.
自宅の床の荷重センサーが反応した。
Wait, what? Of course she was.
ごめん、苦情は後で聞くから。水道システムの点検に参りました。お忙しいとのことで、管理用の鍵の使用許可にサインをいただいてるはずですが。
You This is hilarious because in real life, okay, I'm sorry, and you have signed a permit to let us access the property in your absence. Was he just disguised as somebody and came in under the guise of this, and so it didn't? It was like, yeah, whatever. Because since Kambu's not recognized by anything, it's like, oh, okay, well, you're just not gonna be recognized, and he's wearing holos, so it's like, well, fuck you. And he's been there physically at every turn, or at least most of them. So it's like, why wouldn't he do this? I wouldn't put it past him. Um, yeah, especially because like, yeah, you signed a permit to let us come into your shit whenever. And that reminds me in real life. Recently, I forget what specifically was. I just remember watching a video on it or like reading on this about how I think it was a I really don't remember what it was about. It was just literally about like maintenance people and how they can just come up in your shit and just that's it. And she like rejected him or something, and like he ended up killing her. But yeah, it was basically about this maintenance man that came in and killed this lady, and it's just like that like caused an uproar, and people are like, "Hey, yo, that's kind of fucking weird, nigga. Like that this maintenance guy can just come up into my spot when I live alone." Whenever the fuck he pleases. Like it's kind of fucked, you know? And yeah, people just had really like big discussions on that. And it's crazy to me because it's like shit like that where I'm like, how is that not already against the law? And it's like so much shit that yeah, that's just like I feel like that you would think like, yeah, obviously you should probably do better background checks and psychological checks if possible, if you have the funds for it, for shit like this, or at the very least ban it at all if possible, and or lock it. And then if you want it to be a like function, then it's like okay, you can be like okay, hey, I co-signed this, blah blah blah, instead of it being like just in the contract in itself or in whatever the fuck you signed itself. Um, I feel like you would think like, oh, we would take like measures to prevent that, but no, we don't. Which is kind of crazy, or at least in some places we don't. I don't know about all like apartments or hotels or well apartments specifically. I don't know about all apartments, but yeah, it just reminded me of that, and I was just like, fuck. I'll try to find it maybe if I remember what it is, and I'll put it up on screen or whatever. Damn, that's just kind of crazy.
死亡した201名の乗員乗客のうち184名が児童という悲惨な事故を利用して莫大な利益を享受したもの。
Oh, one party good. Okay, yeah.
彼女はカムイや自己犠牲者たちの遺体を使い
Frame. She doesn't look like weird to me. She like it. Her face just looks mad weird. I don't know in that picture. It just looks weird. I don't know what it is.
特許技術はさらなる進化を続け
Of course, because you can test it out actually on people.
ばかりは重大な問題を抱えている。それは
Where am I?
常森茜と東金咲夜の
Are you? I felt it changing to that direction. I just didn't say anything. My hand was on the pause button the whole time because I was like, what? Result of experiment conducted with togane Mizaki. Artificially created. Okay. Okay. She's fine. No, because it's like you're not wrong. And I'm like, damn, I'm gonna give her props. And then you say shit like this. I just not sure if I want to go that. I'm debating whether this is the story telling me what's happening or if this is just Makishima being kind of right, kind of near the mark, but she's being clouded by her own bullshit. Like I don't know. And it's just like she says shit like, and I'm just like, it was like she's trying to do the teacher suck up bullshit when she says shit like this specifically. And it's just like, fuck. I like this, but fuck. I don't know if I'm just making it more complicated than it is or not, but like, you're so weird, bro. Right here, this shit right here. Now you're just actually off the fucking deep end, and you're just being fucking stupid. This now you're just even her tone changed and the fucking music blared up too, and I'm just like, okay, now you're just being stupid. I fully expect her to go into the whole fucking start fucking anime typing like close up fucking eye fishlins on her face into the fucking laptop. Like, all right, now you're bugging. Chill out. Like now you just she speeds up. You're such a fucking fuck. I'm sure teacher will understand. Oh my god. Oh, you're so fucking haha, press play. You did a good job. Look at me, teacher. Teacher. Alright, Maki, bro. You're just and it's crazy because she hasn't told anybody else on her team any of this fucking information. That's the first thing she does is decides to write up a fucking email about how kind of rightfully so Togane is sus and he's fucking probably dangerous. Sure. You know, you got that. Even the Akane shit where Akane's like she doesn't view that as like a threat. She doesn't, whatever. You never talk to her about any of this shit. But you're not wrong. But you don't know that because you haven't talked to her in the universe. I'll maybe halfway let you have that. But the fact that you did all this shit and the first thing that you chose to do was write a fucking page essay, maybe more, to the boss is crazy to fucking me. That's insane. This is another thing because this is why I was like, is this Shimotsuki just fucking up? Because I felt like she was just like wrong in some areas through my own shit. But also I'm like, okay, what if I'm fucking wrong? Which makes me double back to the whole, is this the story trying to tell me something? Or is Shimotsuki wrong? And my assumption is maybe right or possibly at least more on the track of what the story is trying to tell me that she is, and she's just fucking stupid because she's clouded by blah 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 her feelings towards Akane, etc., etc., etc. And this right here even confirms it more because I was like, no, his goal is bigger than just revenge on the Togane Corporation. That's why I was like, that's kind of weird. Now I'm like, she's probably wrong on that. She's probably wrong on Kamui's things. I think that she thinks that she got it. She has a little piece of it, but the conclusion is probably wrong. I think the few details that she does have, like the connection, that like the Togane's thing, general like history in general, I think she's maybe correct on. I think the whole mom thing is like, yeah, probably the AA connection between Kamui and Togane is probably correct, but how that manifests itself in reality may be different than what she's thinking. I think like things like that, like those details specifically that she got, I think she's probably correct on that. However, Kamui's goal, I think she's just wrong on. I think it's what they've been saying. I think his goal is bigger than that. I think it's revolution. I mean, he even said it himself. Like, what color are you, Sybil? I'm gonna judge you, right? So we know that. I, at least I hope we know that. Um. Uh. So yeah. Yeah. She's clouded by her naivety, I guess. Um. And her jealousy and whatever. Roll back to jealousies. She's clouded by her naivety and whatever else feeling she has about Akane and et cetera, et cetera. Um Yeah, I'm kind of fairly certain of that now. With this, yeah, I just wasn't sure if I was right or if I was tripping or what.
ところでこの WA だが、これはオープンドアデータと呼ばれるものだ。オープンドアデータ。重要機密を暴こうとする社会不適合者をおびき寄せて把握するための罠。君はそれにまんまと引っかかった。WA すなわちアプリよりアクイット、先天的な免罪体質について。シビラの重大な秘密だ。
Wait, what?
さて、捜査から逸脱してこのようなデータの収集に勤しんだ君の処理、どうすべきか。
Ooh, really? We're doing this? No.
この程度の悪化でとどまっていられるとは。彼女はまだ使えます。私に任せていただけませんか、母さん。
問題なのは、
常森とカムイのことなら心配は。
Lines are drawn. Okay.
私が仕留めてみせます。
賢明な判断ね。
Are you gonna fucking plug her in?
的な市民だわ。退屈なほどに。
この反応。
Oh, okay. Sure. She's just a testing subject because she's so fucking basic. This episode was mad interesting. This was probably my favorite episode of this season.
世界の秘密を教えてあげる。
So that's his mom. That's his mom. So it's I brought this up earlier about how I assumed that it was the original body holder, and then there was the guy with the book that Makishima killed. And now we get this bullshit where it's like, yeah, it's his mom. Fuck. No, either I was wrong about that, and it was his mom all along, or his mom, since she died 5 years ago, and she was a fucking freak in the first place. Now, is the AA shit was she actually just lying? But I don't see any reason why she would lie, because I assumed that she was lying to make her shut the fuck up because she was getting kind of annoying, and to get her to like be quiet or whatever. But maybe AA is like maybe it is a honeypot, and if she was telling the truth about that, sure, that's one way to get it, and that would explain why his mom is with the sibyl now, because she fell for the honeypot too, because it's to trap asymptomatic people, or like to get their attention, and then like to get the sibyl to get like to notice them or whatever. Sure. Why would she lie? I just don't understand why she would lie. Maybe she is. Maybe okay. Nothing's definite. Nothing I'm about to say is necessarily definite unless I'll say otherwise, or I'm gonna clarify. Like I'm probably leaning this way or that way. So just, I don't know if she's. I don't know. But that like, why would she lie in that situation? You're already gonna reveal everything to her. So it's like, why would you, right? So like, if that is the case, sure, right? Moving past that. So, so it's Togane, the sibyl, well, sorry, the chief slash his mom, and then it's Akane, and then it's Kamui as like their own three separate things. And then also as like lines in the sand or groups or whatever. But then also, and I'm not even gonna talk about subgroups or whatever. Um, and then also, yeah, is it just his mom? I'm assuming it's not just his mom. Yeah, yeah. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna assume it's something akin to his mom fell for the honeypot because she was mad interested and obsessed with that shit. She got bought. When she died 5 years ago, she got into the Sybil somehow. And now she's just in the body along with the original chief owner of the body, assuming that I'm right. If I'm wrong, it was somehow always his mom there, which is like, okay, if it was, then like the book holder guy that Makishima killed, along with his mom, along with the chief, unless they were just going under the guise of the chief, and then it's her all along, and the chief and the original body owner of the chief is just gone or never existed. Unless we're gonna go with that, and then yeah, I'm just like, what's the relationship between Togane and the Sybil? Like, it's my job to make this Sybil, and I believe he said his mom clear or not clear. Sorry, roll that back. Beautiful. He used certain vernacular. He said beautiful and clear, whatever that means, and I said black because I was like, what does that mean? Because he enjoys turning people black. Pause. He enjoys making people's psychopaths as black. Is that separate from what he views as beautiful and pure? Maybe, probably, maybe. That's why I said black, like question mark. Like, what is that exactly? What does beautiful and pure mean to you? What does that mean, right? Um, yeah, and I'm just thinking about their relationship. Like, it's so weird, and that explains where he came from. He was an underling of her in the first place, so that answers that question. Um, and I'm gonna assume, since the lines are drawn, at least for now, that he didn't get in contact with Kamui. He's just antagonistic towards Kamui because he's on the chief slash his mother's side slash the Sybil side. So yeah, that kind of answers that too. This episode is very interesting. I really like this episode. I really like this episode. I'm probably gonna have to digest a bit. Um this episode was very fucking interesting. I really like this episode. Probably my best episode of the season, to be honest. Oh, and his eyes were red. I didn't really think anything of it. I still don't necessarily do. I just thought I'd mention it because I did notice it. Um, they're usually like colored a certain way. Like when they pinned Maki onto the desk, her eyes shone like she was viewing. I mean, like she was holding a dominator. Um, but his were just pure bright ass fucking red. So was his dominator, by the way. Uh, I noticed it. I don't know if that necessarily means anything. Even if it does, it's like, what the fuck am I gonna get? I don't know. Maybe he has some kind of special privileges or something. Oh wait, of course it means something. He's pointing it at an inspector. I'm stupid. Duh. I guess somehow the Sybil did or can, assuming this is what it's doing, because he's an enforcer and he's pointing it at an inspector, and he was reading her shit. Um, maybe they can interfere with the dominators in that way, or I'm dumb and I didn't notice it before, that was just a sign that the dominator was locked. Or it could just be like oh, this is just like for dramatic effect or whatever. I don't know. That's why I didn't really say anything, because I was like, I'm not sure. I wasn't really focusing on that anyways in the moment. It could just be dramatic effect. I don't know. I'm like 70, 30, 20, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But I doubt that's the Sibyl. Honestly, I really doubt that that's the Sibyl interfering with the Dominator itself specifically, anyways. Just because of the rules and shit that they mentioned towards Kane that one episode, when I was like, "This is the rule that you keep out of everything. This is the rule, really." I don't know if the Sibyl would do that. I'm not saying they're like some kind of principled entity or being or whatever. I'm just saying I don't know if they would do that, and I just don't want to be like, yeah, they would just totally do it on a whim just because. I don't know, but I mean, the difference was there. I noted his red eyes. I don't know. I have vague thoughts right now. I don't know. Like I said, I have to digest it. We'll see. Um, yeah, I'll just have to digest. Really fucking good episode. Holy.